What's up, mother? I need to grow up, honestly. I actually need to grow up. So yes, it's that time. We are back with another rating or roasting your setup. We're at number 4 now. This series has been doing much better than I expected. I also don't want to do them too often. It's why I leave quite a few months between them. But yeah, they're just really fun to do. Like, I asked you guys on Twitter, and I had over 200 submissions, which is just insane. So yeah, it took me a while to pick a few for this video. But yeah, you guys are crazy. Honestly, the setups I'm seeing as well, I'm so impressed. Some of you guys have some mad setups with some very expensive gear, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, how the hell do you guys afford this stuff? But I'm glad some of you are doing well. I'm glad some of you can afford that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see. So I don't have a sponsor for this video, but if you want to support the channel, make sure to check out my wallpapers and other digital products I have. Like I said in my previous video, I'm still saving up for that damn Ferrari, you know. I still want that damn Ferrari so I can make a video on it. But in all seriousness, if you want to support the channel, check out my wallpapers and subscribe to my newsletter, because I do send a newsletter once per month, just sharing anything interesting, sharing cool links or whatever. And it'll be nice to see you guys there. Let's actually get into it. Let's stop wasting more time, because damn, I talk way too much. I'm just like jabbering on for no absolute reason. Anyway, let's go. So the first setup we are looking at is by Christian Roman, his name is. Super clean setup, super clean. I really like it. Lots of whiteness to it. It may be a bit too clean even for me, really. It may be a bit too much white, but everything's really well organized. I especially love the Pro Display XDR. I assume that's a Pro Display XDR he's got there. And yeah, it looks awesome. I love the wide desk. I'm considering getting a super wide desk myself so that I have more room for activities, right? It's just nice having a super wide desk so you can have all your stuff on it. The triple monitor setup is interesting. I'm not sure I would have 2 portrait monitors, but whatever works for you, right? If it works for you, it works for you. Who am I to tell you it doesn't work? I like the Herman Miller M-Body chair as well. That's a really nice chair. Good choice. Going to be good for your back. I always say, if you can invest in a high-end office chair, please do. You don't want back problems later in life. No one does. No one wants to walk around crooked, right? And of course, finally, that Eames chair. That Eames chair is stunning. Absolutely stunning. I've always wanted an Eames chair. I've always wanted to get one, but I just haven't really found the place for one, because it requires quite a bit of space. It's quite a big chair, and I feel like you need the right sort of room, you need the right sort of space for it. So I haven't had a good enough excuse to get one. Maybe in the future though. I also really like the classic Macintosh he has there. I think I don't know what it's called, but yeah, the classic Macintosh there looks pretty cool. And he has some AirPods Max next to his Eames chair. And I like the photo on the wall of the sort of airplane window. Yeah, pretty nice setup this. I like it. It's a really clean, nice setup. So next up we have a setup by Renat, and I'll be honest, I can't see it. It's just way too dark. What is this? It looks like you're in a dungeon, mate. What's going on? Like, are you Bane? Were you born in the darkness or something? This is stupidly dark. I can't see shit. What's going on? Anyway, obviously I'm taking the piss, but yeah, this is a weird setup. I feel like it's way too dark. I don't know if that's the sort of vibe you're going for. I'm not a fan of it, but I do like the wallpaper. Weirdly, I didn't think I'd like wallpaper. It's an interesting wallpaper in the background on the walls. But yeah, we need to brighten up this setup. I hope you're not some weirdo who sits in the dark all the time looking at weird things on the internet. Next up we have a setup by Jose. I think that's her name, Jose Solano. This is really nice. I love the rustic theme, the dark green sort of tones with the warm brown tones as well. It's just really nice. It's a really nice setup. I personally wouldn't go for it, but I can appreciate this aesthetic, and I know a lot of you guys also like this sort of aesthetic. There's a lot going on here, but I feel like it's quite well organized and sorted. So yeah, I like to call it organized chaos. I think that's a good way to look at it. I love the Kanto U2 speakers that you have here. I have Kanto U2 speakers myself at home. I have them in black, but I like the wooden finish here because obviously it matches the sort of aesthetic you're trying to go for. And they are fantastic speakers. The sound quality is just so good, especially if you have the subwoofer with them. I'm also not usually a fan of ultra wides, but I think it works here, especially with the sort of floating arm that you have, the floating look. I think it looks really good. The main reason why I don't like ultra wides is that I feel like you're paying more money for a screen that's just actually just cut off on the bottom and just made wider, because the pixel density usually isn't as good as something like a 27-inch 4K or 27-inch 5K monitor. That's why I just feel like they're a bit overrated. But if you don't really care too much about pixel density and you want that ultra wide for like lots of windows and stuff, then yeah, go for an ultra wide. I personally just don't think they're really worth the money. That keyboard though, that keyboard is chunky AF. Jesus. I don't know who that keyboard is by, but that is one chunky ass keyboard. Pretty cool. I like the wooden palm rest as well. I'm still very much a fan of thin keyboards. Even when I look at other mechanical keyboards, I try to look for thinner ones. Yeah, I feel like I've just gotten used to Apple keyboards, and now it's hard to sort of go back to a full size sort of keyboard. It's weird. That pegboard, the black pegboard on the wall behind the monitor is nice. I like how you have a few accessories, you have a few photos. It looks like a photo of you and your girlfriend, I think that is. But then you also have organization. You know, you have the trays, you have the sort of cups as well, and the cable organizers. I really like this. I feel like it's a good mix between organized and of course having little things that sort of, I guess, show your personality. Maybe not personality, but your own sort of like little trinkets, I guess, that you like. Yeah, I really like this setup. Like I said, I love the rustic look of it. I think it's nice, and I think a lot of you guys will also enjoy it, because I'm sure everyone gets tired of the super clean, super grey setups and stuff. I know I go for like completely grey, black setups. As you can see, like there's basically no colour. But not everyone's into that. And if you're into this sort of thing, yeah, I can appreciate it. Next up, we have a setup by, he doesn't have his name, but his username is Tarnished Banana Magistrate. That is the most bizarre thing ever. Anyway, yeah, this setup, there's a lot to unpack here, I'll be honest. But before we get into that, the one thing that caught my, or the two things that caught my eye in this setup is that PS2 Slim and the PS1, the sort of mini PS1. I had both of those growing up as a kid. And I love them. They really bring back fond memories. Playing games like Crash Bandicoot, playing games like GTA San Andreas on my PS2 Slim. Man, those were the days, right? I remember I used to play GTA San Andreas way too much. I know that storyline like so well. It's just crazy. The rest of your setup though, throw it in the bin, because it is absolute trash. What is going on here? There is way too much crap everywhere. And it just feels dirty. I feel dirty looking at it. I feel like I need a shower now. This is just a filthy ass setup. Next up, we have a setup by Joseph. I think that's how you say your name, Joseph. But this isn't really a setup. I feel like I wanted to share this because I think it's actually very interesting, because I wasn't expecting to see this. So it's a MacBook without a screen. And it's actually a thing. This has actually become a thing. And I've seen a few articles about it. I've seen a few videos about it. So you can go on places like eBay and other sort of marketplaces and whatever else and find MacBooks that work without a screen. So you would just simply connect up the MacBook via HDMI or USB-C. I assume it's going to be USB-C because it's the touch bar MacBook. And yeah, you connect up to a monitor and it works. And it's pretty nuts. It's a pretty crazy thing to do. But it's also a very clever way to recycle a MacBook with an unrepairable screen. I feel like this is really clever. You can also usually pick them up for quite cheap if you have a look. I haven't personally looked myself. But yeah, if you don't care about having a screen on your laptop, on your MacBook, but you want a Mac and you already have a display, maybe this is an option. It's a crazy option, but it works, right? So yeah. Next up, we have a setup by Shoichi, who's from Japan by the looks of it. Is he from Japan? Yes, Tokyo, Japan. And yeah, god damn, like this setup is absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning. It feels so warm and such a nice place to work. I love the mid-century style desk as well. Furniture like this can last for generations if you take care of it, if you take good care of it. It's expensive to buy, but as you can see, it just looks so good. Like I feel like mid-century architecture has really held its sort of like design very well, even like so many years later. Those golden sort of sun rays coming in through the window are just super, super nice. And the yellow iMac fits so nice here. It almost looks gold. Usually I wouldn't go for something like that, iMac like that, but it just works so well here. It works so nicely with this whole setup. Yeah, this is a proper banger of a setup. I really like this. One of my favorites for sure. Next up, we have a setup by Christopher. And yeah, this is actually just horrific. This is awful. The desk hasn't patinated well at all. Like it just looks ugly. This is an example of a desk that hasn't been taken care of. The Dell monitors have fingerprints all over them, which just makes me sick. I absolutely hate fingerprints on screens. I have to use a microfiber cloth. Oh, I'm actually upset. I can't look at it. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And the cable management is non-existent. Like You didn't even try, did you? This is awful. The only redeeming things here are the new MacBook Pro that you have and the AirPods Max. Everything else can just be burned because this is awful. Our next setup is by Dion, and I like the contrast in this setup. I actually quite like it. It's not something that I would even really think of, but I like how half of the wall is white and then the bottom half is this sort of dark greeny color. I also like the IKEA office chair. I feel like this design, this IKEA office chair, the design of it is very underrated. I feel like it's a very cool looking chair. It looks like you're using a Pro Display XDR and you're using one of my wallpapers, which is great to see. It looks awesome here. I really like it. The RGB on the sort of back, yeah, it looks okay. Usually I'm not the biggest fan of RGB even, but it looks okay here. I probably would change it to like a neutral color. I think when it comes to like LED lighting on the back of a desk or whatever, it always looks best when it's a neutral color. It looks like you have the Pro Display hooked up to a MacBook Pro, one of the new ones as well. And I like the thin metal shelves that you have on the wall. They're pretty unique, not something you usually see, but I feel like they actually work really well in this setup. Yeah, overall pretty nice setup and very different from what you usually see. Our next setup is by Luke, and this setup has a lot of potential, but it also has a lot of things wrong with it as well. I like the dark accent wall. I think that looks nice. I like the desktop with the Alex drawers. That's really nice. But I hate everything else. Like, I just don't like everything else at all. The RGB lighting here really doesn't look nice. It just looks like unicorn vomit, I'll be honest with you. The PC on the desk as well is a big no-no. As I've said before, I think if you're going to have a PC on the desk, it needs to look nice. Like, I've just got to be honest, this one just doesn't look nice at all. It's just not my cup of tea. Also, the speakers here are pretty horrific. What are these speakers? Maybe I'm missing something here, but yeah, these look like there's something from the early 2000s or something. Yeah, the keyboard is quite nice and the sort of mouse mat, and you know, you have a nice headphone stand, but yeah, it has a lot of potential and some of the other elements are great, but the rest of it is just like, I'm not a fan of it, to be honest with you. And then our final setup is by Ian, and I've saved the best till last. Well, this is my favorite anyway. This is possibly one of my favorite setups I've seen, and for a couple of reasons. I feel like it just looks really cozy, but also clean and open at the same time. It's like a good mix of the two. I love the idea of having a setup or workspace by a window like he has here. And obviously it looks like you're in New York, so you're in a high-rise apartment. I feel like it just looks awesome. I especially love the classic New York architecture that you can see outside. I just think it looks really class. Ian says here that he's actually using a studio display connected to a PC, and I think it looks great. And the surprising thing is it works really well. I've seen a few videos of people using a studio display connected up to a PC or a laptop, a Windows laptop, and yeah, it does work. Even the webcam works, the speakers work. It surprisingly works quite well, and I think it looks really nice here. I also like the snake plant too, a good way to add some greenery to the setup. And I like the grid studio frames on the wall of the iPhone and the Apple Watch. It looks really nice. Overall, I'm a really big fan of this setup, and I could actually see myself working here. I really like it. This is definitely one of my most favorite setups that I've sort of had or seen on this series. So yeah, that's it for this video. That's it for rating and roasting your setups. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully the roasting, you guys understand. I'm just taking the piss. Like, it's meant to be a joke. I really hope people don't get upset. That's the whole point of this. If you get upset over this, just grow up. No, but seriously, I am just joking. I'm taking the piss. This isn't meant to be anything serious. It's just nice to see other people's setup. It's just nice to see what people have put together. I'll try and leave links to products and stuff, but I will of course leave links to the original tweets so that you guys can go to the tweets, find any products and whatever, ask any questions if you guys want to. And yeah, if you guys want to enter in any future ones, make sure to follow me on Twitter and watch out for when I actually ask for setups. Please don't send me setups randomly, mainly because if you send me your setups randomly on Instagram or Twitter without sort of replying to the original tweet, I'm just not going to see it. I'm going to forget about it, and yeah, I'm just not going to see it. So wait until I ask for you guys to submit your setups in my next tweet. Well, whenever I ask, basically. Anyway, I feel like I'm gibbering on. Yeah, like I said, if you guys want to support the channel, make sure to check out my wallpapers. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and like I said, subscribe for more.